Good afternoon. My name is Estala Saka, and this oral presentation is for the LALC70011 Theories and Methods in Modern Languages 1 module. Using an ethnomusicology perspective, this oral presentation aims to discuss and analyze the relationship between music and how individuals manifest particular identities by focusing on the two concepts of gender and class. To acquire this understanding, the following aims, as stated on the presentation, will be used as structure to present an argument. Furthermore, Catherine Ellis's chapter, The Sociology of Music, will be used as a foundation of knowledge, in addition to supplementary academic readings and lecture materials from Block 2, Musicology and Sound Studies, to catalyze a comprehensive argument. However, before discussing the relationship between music, gender, and class, we will define what ethnomusicology is. According to Mackerel 2021, ethnomusicology is a means to learn more about global cultures and values, and by implementing this form of study, scholars, particularly musicologists and sociologists, are able to make deductions from human behavior, in particular how identities are formed. Therefore, this presentation aims to utilize this ethnomusicology approach to conceptualize how individuals establish associations with specific music genres and the effects of this in society. The first aspect I will discuss is the relationship between music and class, by highlighting the need for individuals to acquire cultural capital, causing the inevitability of a class divide. The second aspect I will discuss is the relationship between music and gender by indicating the misrepresentation of women within the music industry. To conceptualize the meaning and manifestation of the relationship between music and class, two subsections will be discussed. The class divide presented within schools, the class divide presented within occupations. The first point, the reinforced class divide presented within schools, explores the concept of inculturation. Inculturation indicates the influence of social structures such as schools, family life, and the media towards shaping group tastes. For instance, in schools, the content delivered during music classes is primarily from white European male artists, and there is little representation of music from other cultures within the curriculum. Similarly, opportunities for children to experience activities with high cultural capital, such as going to the theatre or musicals, may exclude children from a lower income household. The curriculum and the cost of high cultural capital activities manifest the class divide presented within schools, as individuals from lower income households are excluded from the opportunities to bridge the gap. The second point, the class divide presented within occupational positions, explores the concept of the patronage system. The patronage system, specifically arts patronage, refers to the support from the wealthy towards artists such as musicians, painters, and sculptors. This hierarchy manifests what Denora 1995 terms the gatekeepers for public exposure, and the continuance of class divide in music. This is because specific occupations such as music reviewers, agents, and patrons are able to respond to create demands, are in the position to defend the music they value. This statement links back to the class divide presented within schools, as those individuals positioned higher in the hierarchy are capable of dictating the curriculum taught to the children. To conclude, the relationship between music and class highlights how an individual's class reflects their positionality through the genre of music they consume, and as an expense, as humans, we often alter our identity to feel included. Similarly, to conceptualize the meaning and manifestation of the relationship between music and gender, the presentation will highlight how music encodes male hegemony and reaffirms the inequality presented in society. Hegemonic masculinity legitimizes the dominant role of males and the subordination of women. In Chopin's 1990 book, Music as a Social Text, this concept is further illustrated in how artists emphasize a specific timbre and voice production dependent on their gender. For instance, macho timbres is evident in Mick Jagger's ability to create a rasping sound, whereas women are expected to produce a more relaxed vocal production. These expectations highlight how, similarly to other aspects of society, women are predisposed to act in a subdued manner. To conclude, the relationship between music and gender highlights how the gender of an artist can influence consumption patterns. Similarly, an artist's lyrics can be an indication of the position of women in society. Although the concepts stated above provide a holistic perspective, caution needs to be exercised, as there are research gaps and further reading has indicated the contradicting views other scholars have. Contradictions towards the relationship between class and music include some scholars disagreeing with the importance of social structures by indicating that individuals resist or adapt to them. Similarly, Ellis argues that societal values and traditions change. Subsequently, music can be interpreted from a new angle and given new meanings. For instance, although grime continues to have prominent associations with lower income individuals in crime, there has been a shift in individuals consuming the music, particularly within middle and upper class individuals. This statement is further explored by a study conducted by Sarah Thornton on the 1990s clubbing scene, where the scholar illustrated how young people from public schools were adopting working class accents and attitudes in an attempt to enjoy a temporary authenticity. Similarly, contradictions made by the relationship between gender and music include Shepard's argument indicates an essentialism approach by identifying all the characteristics of women together and all characteristics of men together as opposites. However, there have been emerging artists that have used a combination of each approaches and received positive audience feedback. For instance, as stated by Shepard in 1990, commenting on female blues singers such as Bessie Smith, the aggressiveness of women singers is directly related to their position in northern Black American society in the years between the wars. To conclude, this presentation highlights that music does have a significant role in society through assisting in the formulation of an identity. This was explored by conceptualizing the relationship presented within music, gender, and class, where humans utilize music to maintain power and influence over others through excluding lower class individuals from obtaining cultural capital, and similarly, individuals using music as an approach to reaffirm hegemonic masculinity. The following slide is a reference slide. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.